Hello, Cure Arthritis Nation, and welcome to Arthritis Now, brought to you by the Arthritis National Research Foundation. I'm your host, Kyle Langen, and today we're going to be talking to Dr. Timothy Niewold of the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, who was supported by ANRF from 2009 to 2011. So sit back, relax, and open your mind as we bring you the latest news in arthritis. Now! Hi, Dr. Niewold. Thank you for being here with us today.
Hi, thanks for having
me. No problem. So I'm just going to jump right in if that's okay with you. What is your title at the Mayo Clinic and the department you are a part of?
So I'm an associate professor of medicine at the Mayo Clinic, and I'm a part of the Division of Rheumatology and the Department of Immunology. So I'm joint in those two departments.
Perfect. So now you were funded by the Arthritis National Research Foundation about 3 years ago, correct?
Yeah.
And so what kind of research did the ANRF grant allow you to do?
It really got me started. So the ANRF, it was actually, I had a first grant and then I had a successful renewal also. And it was a really vital piece in my puzzle, I guess, when I was trying to get the lab going and off the ground. I had some support for my own salary, but the funding for the ANRF really helped me expand our efforts and bring on another person and pursue our line of investigation, which is we're trying to understand molecular events in human lupus and what are some of the pathogenic events that happened early on that predispose to disease. So the ANRF was at a really critical time in my sort of early faculty years that helped us ramp up and get going.
Yeah. So, and at that time when we are, getting started and everything, what does that mean to you to receive a grant like the one that ANRF gave you?
So this is big. It's an area that's not very well served also, I would say. So there are a lot of grants you can get that will pay your institution to pay your salary. But if you're the person who's doing all the experiments, analyzing all the data, having to write all the grants and all the papers, then actually you don't get so much done. And it can be hard. It's a very, as funding contracts generally, it's a fairly competitive world out there in research. And so the ANRF helped because it was sort of a force multiplier, and I was able to bring another person into the lab and really get our ideas going. So we had ideas that we really believed in, and it was sort of the fuel to let us take them forward and really go for it.
Cool. And so now, in your best layman terms, for those of us who aren't as familiar with the scientific jargon of your research, what are you currently working on?
So I'd say the broad field we're in lupus genetics and autoimmune disease genetics, and okay. The idea is that we want to try to understand what goes wrong. So our idea with lupus genetics is we want to work on the real human condition and try to understand what are some of the features that go wrong. And so even that is kind of a broad field, so there are many lupus risk factors. And so the ANRF grant specifically, we looked at risk factors that work on a particular pathway. And so we're interested in this interferon pathway, which is one of our normal routes of viral defense. And it looks like it's overactive in lupus patients. And so what we were able to do was to tie in some of the genetic factors as overacting in this pathway. And so that was sort of a critical link to show how does lupus begin and how do some of the genetic factors that cause risk of disease, how do they play out in the immune system?
Wow. And so making the connection between your lab and sufferers with lupus, what kind of impact might it have on their lives?
So what we're really hoping, not just to figure out this interferon pathway thing, but what we're hoping is that we can understand, I'd say mostly the differences between people with lupus. It seems pretty clear that we're not going to get lucky and have a one-size-fits-all kind of treatment. The disease is different in different people, And I think that's playing out in a lot of different inflammatory diseases, even rheumatoid arthritis. This seems to be the case, that there's no one treatment that treats everyone.
Right.
And so we believe there should be a biological basis to this. And if we could understand what is it about someone's immune system that makes them respond to one treatment and not to another, we might get to a more predictive strategy where you could actually look at someone's immune profile and then understand what treatment might work best for them, and hopefully get at the problem more efficiently.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And so, why did you choose to go into lupus? Is there like kind of a personal connection that for you, or why?
Yeah, so I'm lucky. I haven't had a personal experience with lupus, so that's sort of
good
news so far. But
yeah.
It's not so uncommon. It's out there.
Right.
But I have as a physician. So in some of my early training as a physician, I actually saw a case that stimulated some of my research ideas, where it was a person who was receiving interferon to help them fight a viral infection, and they developed lupus while on the drug.
Wow.
And it was fascinating to me to see how tuning the immune system could result in this complicated condition that we call lupus. And so I liked rheumatology as a field, and then that sort of stimulated my research interests, and I've been moving along this route ever since. I would say that on the clinical side, treating lupus is very humbling. It's a difficult condition for both physicians and patients.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not always obvious what the right answer is, and I think that stimulates me to stay active in research as well. I think all of us feel like there should be better answers out there, and that we have to kind of keep pushing on the research side.
Right. And for you, what is the best part about being a researcher?
I think it's fun because there's it's the thrill of discovery. You're never quite sure where things will take you. So I think that the discovering, and then the being a physician scientist, it's really fun because you are working directly on the problems that you deal with in the clinic as well. So having those two parts of your life, it's a different skill set and a different type of work, but it's exciting to have the same sort of goal, I think. So it's fun to be able to make progress on both fronts.
Yeah, and being in the unique kind of position that you're in with being a doctor and a researcher, what hope can you offer to new patients, or in the future?
I think it's a really exciting time right now. I'm biased, of course, but I think it's really, I think immunology, we're learning a lot. It's been a really rapidly moving field. And I know there are a lot of things in development now in different pharmaceutical companies in different ways that are targeting lupus. And so I think, similar to how cancer has sort of gone big lately, I think autoimmunity is poised to have a bunch of new effective therapeutics come to market. It's always, in fits and starts, and you're never quite sure when the next breakthrough is coming, but there are a lot of tries right now, and there are a lot of attempts, so I think some of these are going to succeed. And I think the treatment of lupus and autoimmune disease is going to be easier, more graceful, and more rational in the next 10 years than it has been in the last 10 or 20 years. And so I think there's hope.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I mean, is there anything that you would like to add?
I think that covers a lot. I'm very grateful
You did.
for support. It was really the funding mechanisms that were available at the ANRF were just perfect. It's at this stage where there's a real gap, and people get stalled there. And I think the ANRF funding really helps people get over this hurdle and really get their lab going. And it's important. ANRF is helping stack the deck a little bit more by keeping arthritis researchers in the game, and I think that's really valuable, and it was very valuable for me.
Yeah. Well, great. Yeah, we're so happy to have you on our team.
Great.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time, and we will look forward to hearing from you soon.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and check us out at curearthritis.org, where you can find out more about the foundation. And don't forget to do your part to spread arthritis awareness, so together we can get one step closer to finding a cure.